Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show. Today, guys, we finally are seeing it. If you are happy about this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Kash Patel is dropping the hammer on all these rogue judges. He is dropping the hammer on everybody that's obstructing the Trump justice team from deporting these criminal illegal aliens. Judge number 2 has handcuffs on them. 2 felony accounts. They are dropping the hammer right now. Trump said he was going to secure the border, and if anybody got in his way, he would deal with them. Sorry guys. So you've got Trump, Bondi, Kash Patel, Bongino, who are all on it right now. We got the video, the details for you in just a moment. More is coming. They're going after the judges first because they're trying to create a sense of fear for these rogue judges. Guys, so much has come out. You will not believe how much of your taxpayer dollars are being used to funnel over 200 lawsuits against the Trump administration right now, guys. Your tax dollars. But these rogue judges are first, the next are the mayors, the next are the governors. Because we have Judge Jose Cano, who's been arrested for harboring gang members. Judge Hannah Dugan is arrested in Milwaukee for helping illegal aliens evade arrest, and this is just the beginning. If you appreciate this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'm so happy because Trump is now dropping the hammer with his justice team. On top of that, he's cutting off the money supply. Guys, this is huge what I'm about to tell you. The DOJ today has shut down a slush fund that was funneling millions of taxpayer dollars into investigating toxic masculinity and systemic racism, guys. Millions of your dollars that they were using as a slush fund, these Democratic progressive leftists. On top of that, we also have where your tax dollars, remember, have been funding the NGOs. NGO is a non-government organization that is funded by the government. Well, guess what? Today, the DOJ is going after them as well because they have used government money to sue Trump over 205 times since he took office 96 days ago. Flush with this USAID cash and hundreds of Democratic judges, what we are seeing is that they are trying to do a judicial coup against the sitting president using your taxpayer dollars, guys, and the DOJ is going after them as we speak. We've got so much going on today. Elon Musk said, listen, guys, you know what? I hope you're sitting down. I hope you got your popcorn because, man, we've got a show for you. Elon Musk's team came out, said they were able to calculate the amount of illegals voting in the elections, and the results are mind-blowing. The reason the Democratic judges are fighting so hard to keep illegal criminal aliens even is because they're trying to control the House. If illegals were removed or not counted for the Democratic appointments, Democrats would lose 10 seats in the House automatically because that's how much illegal immigrants count towards the Democratic states. We have so much breaking news right now, guys. So much to go over. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Thank you so much for your support, guys. We couldn't do this without you. I want to say if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. We want you here. We want to take care of you with the top news. We're so excited that we're finally seeing justice happen. Guys, so thankful for your support. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel and everybody that's given a super chat donation. Guys, thank you so much. Becky Gavon for the super chat. Y'all show Becky some love in the chat. And I want to say if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button. I want to give a quick update, guys. We have shipped off all the shirts today. For those that have paid and went through, great. There are some that we're going to be contacting you over next week that we're still waiting for the payment to go through. But guys, we're so excited you get to enjoy this with us. We are growing this community. We're bringing the truth, guys. Trump administration is making it happen, and I am so excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because we're finally seeing justice. Check it out.
We've learned about El Salvadorian criminal Kilmar Abrego Garcia Democrats are still obsessed with making him a victim and the new face of their party. Tim Walsh defended Kilmer during his State of the State address in Minnesota last night.
The president has also chosen, and I stress this, chosen to tear up the values that once made America the shining light of the world. Now, in this land of the free and home of the brave, we have university students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process.
Wow.
Trump campaigned on deporting bad hombres, and he's making good on that promise. So Democrats are standing shoulder to shoulder with illegal criminals just to resist 47. While Democrats in Congress get in line to defend Kilmer, they're actively ignoring the warning signs coming from their own advisors. People can't afford eggs, and you're flying to sit with someone who's accused of being in a gang, one Democrat operative told The Hill. Maybe the party should listen to Democrats who know how to win in red states when they try to tell them to ditch Kilmer's case. Here's Henry Cuellar, who represents a border district in Texas. I call him the last of the Mohicans. He's perhaps the most honest broker on the Democrat side. Watch.
We've been talking about strong border security for so many years. And now, there are Democrats who are talking about the border, but with all due respect, when you're talking about bringing somebody, and I know there was due process questions from that was in Maryland and now in Salvador, I don't know if that's the right issue that Democrats should be focusing right now.
Even the left's allies in the media, who sat quietly for years while Joe Biden destroyed the country, realized that Garcia is a sinking ship.
I live in a place that is very rich with diversity, and a lot of the people here who are doing the work of this community are not here legally. But I got to tell you, they do not see themselves in Garcia because he is likely a gangbanger who had, a domestic problem with his wife. They do not see themselves when they look at him. And I don't understand why you just don't argue the law instead of kind of making a George Floyd play with this guy like he's some kind of patron saint of due process.
Democrats
guys, because I got to show you guys. I got to go ahead and show you. Like, the whole thing is crumbling. This is the judge that has just been arrested by the FBI team, Cash Patel, Bongino, baby, and even Pam Bondi, guys. She's the one that's like on the legal side. This is Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She is accused of obstructing the deportation of illegal aliens. Guys, this is what we've been waiting to see. This is finally justice. That you know what? You want to protect criminals? You want to really work hard to protect these criminals when you don't work half as hard for American citizens? Guess what? We're going to put your butt in jail.
Going out of their way to ignore the warning signs from experts at every chance they get. But maybe they'll listen to actual voters.
I am Hispanic, but I am a citizen, legal citizen, and I am disgusted and I am so angry with liberals going out of the country for this guy. And I don't understand. I mean, we have people here in prison. Why aren't they fighting for some here? I don't understand what they're trying to say to the Hispanic community. Like, are they trying to pick votes? Because that's not doing it, especially for people like us that we obey the law. I don't understand why are they doing this? It's not doing anything. It's just making us more angry.
Boom.
Democrats have their heads buried in the sand. They're listening to the white socialist wing of their party and ignoring actual minorities. Remember, these are the same people that gave you Latinx or Latinx. They gave you open borders, and they flipped Starr County in Texas red for the first time in over 100 years.
Wow.
A county that shares a border with Mexico and has a 98% Hispanic population gave Democrats the boot because of how out of touch their policies are. Look, there are three categories of immigrants. There are the people who did it the right way.
Yes.
They applied, they waited patiently in line, and became legal citizens, like my mom. There are also the people who are here illegally. They're working hard, they're raising families, and they're staying out of trouble. And then there are the bad hombres, like Kilmer, who should be removed because they're affiliated with gangs and allegedly beat their wife. Hispanics, even the ones here illegally, don't relate to Kilmer and MS-13. I spoke to Galacio Velasquez, a pro-Trump illegal immigrant on Fox Noticias, and he explained why he agrees with the president's policies.
Any loving father who wants a good future for his family, I want the United States to do well. I wanted to have an administration that fights for inflation to go down, for the economy to improve, to stop wars. With the exception that someone is proven to be guilty of crimes, a criminal, I absolutely agree that they should be returned to their country. And even if I committed crimes, well, have me deported.
Democrats want to put all of them in one bucket. And it's an insult to every Latino in the country, citizens and non-citizens.
Guys, this is about as heartbreaking as you get. This is what makes me so mad, guys, because look at the ABC, CBS, NBC coverage. In the past month, they gave 12 seconds to Rachel Morin, who was killed by an illegal criminal alien. But this Maryland man, who was wrongly deported, 143 minutes. This shows you how much they truly care about Americans. Let's not stand up for our own people. Let's not stand up for our own taxpayers. Let's not stand up for our own American citizens. This was a mom of 5 kids, guys. Those 5 kids lost their mom because the Biden administration let in an illegal criminal alien into this dang country, and it took her life. That's messed up right there. And that's why when I show you this, guys, right here, it's about dang time. These people that are trying to obstruct justice, Judge Joel Cano, Judge Hannah Dugan, both have been arrested, both with handcuffs by the FBI for harboring and helping illegal aliens evade arrest. People with literally criminal backgrounds, they were helping. You know what? Doesn't matter if you're a judge. We're going to put your butt in jail. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, it is about dang time that we hold these people accountable. Chad Matthews, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Let's go. Said, God bless America and President Trump. Y'all show Chad Meadows some love in the chat.
Immigrants don't see themselves in Kilmar. And every time Democrats tried to paint them as equivalent, they lose more and more support. And most of the mainstream media is right there with the Democrats, fudging the narrative and not even hiding their bias. ABC, CBS, NBC, they all devoted 143 minutes to their favorite Maryland man, and I put that in quotes, and only 12 seconds to covering a true Marylander, Rachel Morin. J.D. Vance nails the entire Kilmar issue.
I just disagree with the idea that he hasn't been offered due process. He had a couple of immigration hearings. He had a valid deportation order. I think this idea that somehow that we couldn't deport an MS-13 gang member, and he was an MS-13 gang member, is preposterous. And I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much quote-unquote process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function. We have over 20 million illegal aliens in the United States of America. Are we not allowed to deport them? Because if we're not allowed to deport them, then what these district courts are saying is fundamentally they reject the will of the American people as it was expressed in November of 2024.
Wow. The vice president is right. Radical judges have revealed they are even bigger problems than we originally thought. In New Mexico, a Democrat judge just got busted for housing a Tren de Aragua gang member. His house was just raided by ICE hours ago, and he's been banned from the bench by New Mexico's Supreme Court after the gangster was found inside of his home.
Wow.
Activist judges aren't slowing down in the courtroom. Another one just ordered the return of a second criminal migrant deported to El Salvador. On January 6, 2025, Christian was convicted in the 482nd District Court at Harris County, Texas, for the offense of possession of cocaine, a Texas state jail felony, said Robert Cerna, the acting field office director for enforcement and removal operations. The media must have gotten the same memo as the judge, that it's time to cook up another martyr.
Wow.
The New York Times just put out a fluff piece on another migrant with a rap sheet who's since been kicked out of the country. But Nacimiento Blair isn't some innocent landscaper swept up and deported by accident. He's a former drug dealer who also did 15 years in prison for kidnapping.
Oh my
Democrats
goodness.
are determined to make criminal migrants the centerpieces of their party. Republicans are more than happy to help them get their message across with a new ad. Watch.
Guys, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. If there is anything this whole thing is uncovering, is that we have been living under a corruption like we've never realized it, guys. What I'm showing you on this screen makes absolutely no sense. If you asked any common sense individual, they would literally tell you, no, do not do that. Do not spend my money on that. Democratic NGO, so democratic non-government agencies. Remember, non-government agencies are funded by the government. These NGOs have sued Trump 205 times since he took office. They used USAID money, which Trump shut down. Now Trump is trying to dial in the NGO money. Why? Because our tax dollars, my tax dollars, your tax dollars, if you voted and you support Trump, are being used to sue Trump. This makes no sense, but this is where we're at, guys. This is the truth that people had no idea is happening if we didn't have platforms like X, like platforms that are actually showing you the truth. That's why I appreciate it so much when you share these videos, you like these videos, because people need to see this. A non-government organization that is funded by the government is suing the sitting president to get him out of office. Where does that make sense? Our own government is literally turning on itself, guys. This is what causes chaos. This is wasted taxpayer dollars. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. B1 Sly One, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said 20 Donald Trump, J Trump. Oh, wait. 20 Donald J Trump, 28. 2028, America first. Let's go. Della Cole, thank you so much for the super chat. So this is a great news, family. Now, Jim Jordan for House Speaker needs to be done. I said it from day one. Let's make it happen. And Joseph, first timer with the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Joseph, Della, and B1 Sly with some love in the chat. And what I love, guys, is that we're barely getting started. Like I said, we're 2 judges in now. And this is, remember, we now know that they are pushing to hold everybody accountable that is harboring these illegal aliens. And we're just started, guys. Listen to this.
We are big believers in ending the Fed. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we have a broken system like trade. And how many mistakes can the Fed make on inflation, deflation? And, you know, I've written over and over in the Wall Street Journal that they never look back and introspect. Why did we make such a big mistake? Well, it's because they have stupid models. The models are what's called neo-Keynesian. That means they have a concept of how people work and grow that's plain wrong. That's the core Phillips curve model. But it's the fascination with CPI, which we can't even count. You know, I really don't think you get right numbers out of CPI, and yet they're using it to set interest rates. They have this immense power to buy bonds, any kind of bonds. Even in 2023, people don't know. In the heat of the campaign, as they were trying to Trump-proof Washington against Trump, they set up 13. The Fed used its 13.3 authority in March of 2023. To allow the Fed to lend to banks for as if the collateral, as if bonds were at 100 cents on the dollar when they were only worth 90.
Well, because they were blowing holes in these their own bonds were blowing holes in the balance sheets, as were the Silicon Valley Bank and other things, the bailouts.
And don't forget, the Fed was the biggest. It's the world's biggest hedge fund with the world's biggest loss unrealized on its books. So every year now we are stuck, American taxpayers, with realizing $250 billion of losses from the Fed, but that understates because underwater is all they have $7 trillion of a bond portfolio that's lost money. And what's worse, as I say, in 2023, they allowed this freebie lending to banks that they were trying to protect. So now I do want to say the importance of a central bank anywhere in the world is to protect the currency of the people, because otherwise devaluations kill people on the really cause in the developing world, it actually causes starvation, poverty. One of the things I fought at the World Bank was the IMF's tendency to have everybody devalue because it protects them and the elites in the country. We got to stop that.
It came out today, this morning, 6 a.m. He says in there, they're having
conversations. Do y'all, like, I'm telling you, I hope you appreciate this, guys. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, they literally, before Biden left office, were cutting deals, cutting loans, all these bonds, trying to get as much American taxpayer dollars out the door to all of their friends, to all of their business partners, family members, all this stuff. And it was literally happening, and now we're actually catching it all. This is, like, I want people to be stood up before Congress, to be shown the evidence, and for their butts to be indicted because they took our taxpayer dollars and used it for anything that they wanted to, and Biden was a big part of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And I think he says she picked up the phone and called him. And the Chinese are out, and you've negotiated with them. They're coming out and saying there's no talks. We're not talking to Besson. We're not talking to Trump. We're not talking to anybody. And the foreign devils are trying to sow confusion. Your thoughts?
Confusion and uncertainty is part of the system, and to get to an answer, you have to kind of break the system that we're in, which is that people talk quietly to each other and get nothing done. And so Trump's doing it publicly and saying, we're going to get this done with deadlines. And so the question to me is, if you've got the trading system broken, what can you get out of it country by country? And I think that's what's going on the table right now. They're supposed to come forward with proposals to get to get back into the U.S. market.
You've done this before. This is Tuesdays, the day President Trump gave the interview. We've referred this a number of times. The Financial Times from the other day, as you know, have held this up. Beijing warns of retaliation against nations doing U.S. deals. Part of the deals are going to have embedded in there that we're kind of your lead trading partner, and you'll make special accommodations with us, and we'll make special accommodations with you. Beijing has let know, particularly the East Asian countries in India, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, Vietnam, and India, no bueno, right? So your thoughts?
Beijing has lots of influence in countries, ambassadors that are fully inserted into the countries. The mainstream media really likes that because they can play up the China side of it, and it's very anti-Trump in its nature. But what's happening kind of in the bureaucracy of the world is they're trying to Trump-proof, and so that goes with,
what do you mean Trump? What do you mean Trump-proof?
Trump-proof means
we see how the Democrats try to do it. We see how they're trying to do it here. How they try to do it
across
overseas.
The world. You move the money from where it can be clawed back by the U.S. to where it can't be clawed back by the U.S.
Walk us through that. So these guys are smart. When they see Trump coming to power, it's let's make sure we're beyond Trump's reach as far as sanctions go and as far as in a SWIFT system.
That's right. And
guys, do y'all hear that? I love it so much. Why? Because Trump is gonna hold people accountable. He's not gonna be a pansy like Biden was. With Biden, everybody in the world walked all over the U.S. They started these wars. They took advantage of us on tariffs. Like, this is what I love, is this guy is revealing, like, hey, this is happening in Beijing. This is happening in China. These are happening in these countries. These ambassadors doing this. They're trying to get away from Trump because they know that he doesn't play around. What? F-A-F-O, right? Like, guys, let me know your thoughts, because I'm telling you, this stuff that's coming out, people are revealing themselves like never before.
People knew exactly how to do that. They'd done that in the Obama. It was the same people doing the same thing, which is you set up trust funds, move the money into the trust fund, and write the governance rules of the trust fund so that the U.S. can't get the money, so that Trump can't get the money back.
In two parts of the interview, President Trump, they talk about the tax increases. And President Trump, Newt Gingrich, and Grover Norquist is a lot more amenable to it in this interview. He kind of says it's the right thing to do. His only concern says, hey, look, we're going to have to do something. And he's favorable to it. He says his concern still falls back to the Bush thing because it hasn't been properly explained. Bush raised taxes for everybody. This is a massive tax cut for people. and you got to figure out how to pay for it. But the buried lead that people really haven't picked up on, he says it in context of Bush losing the election and how it would hurt President Trump politically on his own side. Politically, I thought he was termed out. Not in his mind. His answer on the taxes relates directly, and this is easy to overcome, very easy to overcome, but it's in response to his running again in 2028. I don't think it's a random occurrence because President Trump doesn't do things randomly.
Oh, guys, they dropping the bomb. Guys, 2028. Let me know your thoughts. If Trump is on the ballot in 2028, are you voting for him, guys?
Launched the merch yesterday of Trump 2028 on his official, merchandising store in tees and ball caps and other things, other swag. At the same time, knew that the Time interview would be out today. And in that answer, anybody that's been involved in politics at all says, hey, this guy's thinking through his reelect and seeing if this would hurt him or help him. Just saying. Trump 2028 is, it's happening. It's happening. And you can tell he's into it. He would never have answered that question the way he answered about taxes, which makes me feel good because on the tax side, the math just doesn't work.
Guys, let me tell you this. You got to see it, guys. Hold on. It's going too fast. Let me just refresh. This is the Trump store. Look at it right there, guys. Trump 2028. Hat, shirt, canned coolers. Dang it. Should we do a giveaway? Should we buy some Trump 2028 merch and do a giveaway, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the chat because I feel like I just kind of want to. That would be fun. This is nuts, guys. Again, what are we looking at? We are looking at Trump, who has the dream team, who has gone out. Check this out. Look at the evidence that we have found. Elon Musk and his team, deep dive, looked at all the places, all the states, because if you didn't know that illegal immigrants, it doesn't matter if you're a non-citizen, when they do a census, wherever it may be, they count the illegal immigrants, and those illegal immigrants count towards House seats. They found out that if you take away all the illegal immigrants, the House would have an automatic 27-seat advantage in the House of Representatives, guys. That's how much the illegal immigrants matter. That's to the Democratic Party. Why do you think they're fighting so hard? Because they know if we get them out, they're not going to be able to have the House for God knows when, because the Republicans, the GOP, would have such a large advantage, such a large gap, guys. That's how big it is. In the fraud that they are uncovering is next level, guys. What I'm about to show you, again, Trump doesn't just put anybody in these respective positions. He puts people in that are business-minded, know how to look at a P&L, know how to look at the books, and dig deep to find the corruption, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, check this out.
But I am optimistic. Why? Because we control our destiny. Because at its very core, we have a generational opportunity, a unique ability to save the healthcare system because we control all the big pieces. America is too great for small dreams. So I've got some big ideas.
So there you go. Let's hear about the big ideas right now. Being sworn in to head the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, laying out a vision for the agency that insures more than 160 million Americans. The doctor is in, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, and congratulations on the gig, and thank you for spending time with us today on America's Newsroom. Good morning. Huge job, by the way. Said 160 million Americans touched by CMS, $1.5 trillion in spending.
Ooh.
This is a massive job.
That's what he's in charge of.
Or a sentence, what is your mission as you go into this?
My mission is to protect the most vulnerable, because I'll tell you, as a heart surgeon, the most expensive care is bad care.
You got to pay the person who's doing a bad job. You got to pay someone else who's capable to fix the problem, and you got to pay for the complications. And there's so many things we can do to improve.
Guys, and if you didn't know, they did a recent study. The third largest cause of death in America is misdiagnosis by doctors. So he ain't lying, guys. I just saw this article the other day.
Care in America, and folks watch this program are probably witnessing and pretty good testimonials out there about what has been done in the past that's not worked well. But here's the good news. We can empower beneficiaries, give you tools, and that's coming down the pike at you. We can make sure providers have better opportunities and incentivize them to do the right thing, because oftentimes in CMS, we've unfortunately gotten folks to do things wrong because we pay them for doing things incorrectly. But right now, my main focus, without any question, is to wage a war on fraud, waste, and abuse. Okay. Because that's what's required. All hands on deck. It's a massive issue. You know, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially out there. Not all of it's going to be collected at once, but we've got a war room right now focused very much on things that are going to really bother you. If you thought USAID was a problem, some of the issues that we're discovering, some of the things that CMS has been funding through Medicare and Medicaid and the exchanges will bring a little shiver to you.
Wow. Okay, so guys, I want to bring some context for you. USAID had a budget of $60 billion, guys. $60 billion. You just heard him say that out of the Medicare and Medicaid CMS, we're talking $1.5 trillion. So to change it up in the way it said, it's the exact same amount. $1.5 trillion is the same equivalency of $1,500 billion. So like when he says the USAID was nothing, we already know there's about $100 billion in fraud with Medicare and Medicaid a year. $100 billion. So I'm like, he says this. I mean, guys, we're about to get into it, guys. Let me know your thoughts.
Get into it, because Democrats are going at you in a big way. Demonizing all this stuff. Just play a clip here, okay? And I'll get into specifics after this.
Every American will be more vulnerable to President Trump's agenda that prioritizes the billionaire class over the working class as he cuts Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid.
I can fight these proposed cuts to Medicaid that Donald Trump wants.
An assault on the economy, on Social Security, on Medicaid, an assault on the democratic way of life.
Voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits.
So, I mean, this is a song they're singing, and you're going to have to defend it. Elon Musk said this a couple of months ago. This is where the big money fraud is happening, talking about what's happening in Medicare and Medicaid. Can you say today, are you cutting Medicaid, as Democrats claim, and will continue going up to midterms next year?
Dang.
President Trump has been very clear with me. He said it publicly. He wants to love and cherish, I'm quoting him, Medicare, Medicaid, these programs. We are focused on saving Medicaid. That's what we've got to do. That's the existential threat, that you spend it into the ground and we don't have the resources to take care of our most vulnerable. I'm sitting right now in the Humphreys building, which is the Health and Human Services building. Bobby Kennedy and I basically live here now. If you walk in the building, there's a quote from Hubert Humphrey. It says it's a moral obligation of government to take care of people who are in the dawn of life, children, people in the twilight of life, mature seniors, and people who are in the shadows, those with disabilities. To do that, you have got to make the system work better. And Democrats should be cheering us on, because we're going after problems that have plagued the system that people have not dealt with for the last 4 years. I'll give you a couple examples, Bill, simple ones. $1 billion spent, Medicare money, taxpayer money that should have gone to impoverished children and seniors struggling with the illnesses that you get when you get older. And this $1 billion went because people were registered in multiple states on Medicaid at once. So you're paying a lot of states, even though they're not living in those states anymore. We've got $200 million spent on housekeeping services. Is that part of the charge of Medicaid? $10 million spent on student loans. from Medicaid. That could go to saving people who have sickle cell anemia with gene therapy that's remarkably effective in completely reversing a disease. $3 million on DEI, and another $11 million on labor unions' child care benefits. I mean, come on. At a certain point, you look up and you say, you must be kidding. How can someone not have dealt this? Last year, almost 250,000 people were registered in the marketplaces who shouldn't have been.
Guys, so Doge goes in. What's the expectation?
Oh, I know homeboy is trying to get the news on, but did you just hear that? 250,000, 250,000 people were registered in Medicare and Medicaid that should not have been registered. Should not have been getting benefits, guys. You do the simple math. Even if, in an entire year, if 250,000 people received $1,000 apiece, we're talking $250 million of your taxpayer money going to people that shouldn't have. Like, are you even kidding me?
Expectation for savings from Doge. Give us a number today based on $1.5 trillion in spending.
We've already discovered, just since I've been here, and even before, since the inauguration, tens of billions of dollars that is of fraud easily taken back. We just stopped recently a couple $100 million going out the door that would have actually been taken by folks, and who knows where they are taking the money when they get it. These people are not involved in legitimate activities. So the $31 million that I know of last week is a great example of this. We stopped the money by using new technology, by modernizing how Medicare and Medicaid works, from even leaving the building, because we knew something was fishy about these bills. And these aren't just, small little mistakes. These are organized criminal efforts to hurt our country, some of them launched by foreign countries. So these are issues that we want to get into the weeds on, and that's why we have this war room. And before I forget, Bill, this is important. This is all hands on deck. If you have a tip, call us at 1-800-HHS-TIPS or cms.gov/fraud. We need your help. You will identify problems. If you see something, say something.
Okay, this program was designed for poor kids, pregnant women, the elderly, and disabled. And you're saying today that those categories will not be affected by what you're doing. Is that what I hear?
You hear absolutely correctly. What I'm saying is what the president has reflected as well. The people who were supposed to be supported by Medicaid when the program was first designed in 1965 will continue to be helped. And if we don't make some of the changes by reducing fraud and waste and abuse now, we're putting those young people, those old people, and the people in the middle who are in the shadows in trouble.
All right. A lot of people are watching. Thanks for coming on. Let's speak again, okay? It's too big a category.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, this stuff is just popping off right now, guys. What we're talking about, this fraud, waste, and abuse. And again, too, I feel like more and more people are seeing it. It's so bad right now with what I'm about to show you next. The Democratic Party has never had lower approval ratings. Literally, 4 years ago, 48% approval rating of the Democratic Party. Today, 23%. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, you're about to see next the approval rating of what's happened to him. Guys, people are fed up. They see the fraud, they see the waste, they see the abuse. They see that no Democrat has came out and said, thank you, Trump. Let's keep getting the fraud, waste, and abuse out. Let's keep saving American taxpayer dollars. Not a one of them has come out publicly of the Democratic leadership and said, you know what, this is a good thing for America. People are fed up with it. Watch this.
New York Democrats on Chuck Schumer view him favorably. In December of 2024, that was just a few months ago, it was 73%. Look at where that number has fallen to in just a few months. It is now down to just 52%. That is the lowest I could ever find in Siena College on how Democrats in Chuck Schumer's home state view him. And keep in mind, if you're thinking about a primary challenge, it would be a few years away. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's favorable rating among Democrats is considerably higher, in the 60s. So he is doing quite poorly in his own home state of New York. I never thought I'd see the day in which just 52% of New York Democrats would view Chuck Schumer favorably. It's almost unfathomable.
Yeah, I like the footnote. The tiny footnote here, I think it will look much bigger to the Schumer team this morning as they look at that. When you're talking about Chuck Schumer, why? Is there an answer to your question? Is there an answer to the question of why his ratings dropped?
Yeah, it's because they simply put don't like the job he's doing as Senate leader. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
Should Schumer stay as Senate leader? Again, according to New York Democrats, just 50% say yes. Look at this number. 48% say no. This screams sirens should be going off. Primary challenge, primary challenge, primary challenge. When you're a Democrat in New York and these are your ratings, this is a big wake-up call if you're Chuck Schumer, John Berman.
Harry Etten, thank you very much.
Guys, oh my God. When you see that like people on CNN, this guy is hilarious watching him. But again, the people see this right here. That in no way, shape, or form, sometimes you may not even like Trump. You may hate this guy. But when you say, wait, Democratic NGOs, NGOs are funded by the government. Wait, they're using taxpayer dollars to sue Trump? They've sued him over 205 times. Guys, if you appreciate the truth, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is what people are fed up with. People are fed up that how in the world have they taken everybody's taxpayer dollars, used it for their own personal gain, and then said, you know what? It doesn't matter. They'll never catch us. But they're catching them out. They've already arrested 2 judges thus far by the FBI director, Kash Patel, baby. That's what's happening. Gene Kopech, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. So yes, I will vote for Trump for the 4th term. 4th. Hey, y'all show Gene some love in the chat, as well as Tree Man for the super chat, and Andy who said, Joel, today is the best news that I've heard in a while. Let's go. Y'all show Andy, Gene, and Tree Man some love in the chat. And what I love, guys, is it's transparency. We want to know what the heck is going on. We want to know why, the details, because the details matter, because the left-wing media is going to try to build a narrative. They're going to try to lie, but guess what? When you have the details, when you have the context, you have the truth, you know what is actually going on. Check this out.
But first, a Wisconsin judge under arrest and facing charges accused of flouting federal law to help an illegal immigrant. Federal prosecutors say Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped that migrant avoid arrest by ICE officers at the courthouse. It's a bizarre case and it's still unfolding. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to see you back again.
All right, good to be back with you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and this is America Reports. So today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Trinidad gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up 2 people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here.
Guys, is that not the craziest story you've ever heard? Like, these Democrats, I'm telling you, if you're an average American, you're a common sense American, you think, no, he literally beat up a guy, hit him over 30 times, beat up a woman. Like all this stuff, he's an illegal, committing crimes, and this judge is trying to protect him and hide him from ICE. Like, how crazy can you get? I'm telling you guys, there's some screws loose in some of these Democrats. Like, something's wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly, potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member, known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass, December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims. Victims.
Hold up. What are we even experiencing right now, guys? Hold up. I got to show you this. So, these people who are judges. So, I want to bring this thought to you. These people who are judges, who we know, they went through the system. They're a part of the system. This guy was with these people that are illegals, gang members, had pictures of dead bodies on their phones. He took one of the phones, damaged it, beat it with a hammer, threw it in a dumpster. Like, this is such corruption being unveiled, but this is what I want to bring a thought to you. If this is what we're finding out, how many judges are there out there that we don't know about that are just like this? Because if there's smoke, there's fire. These judges that are filing these injunctions, these judges that are obstructing Trump's administration's executive orders. Guys, to me, this is like treason to the country. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because that is just pure evil, guys. Pure evil. Your friends, and you have this person living in your house who's got kill and the necklace and all this stuff and pictures of dead bodies and all this stuff on their phone. Like, what is even going on? This is insane. We need an investigation into every, I hate saying it, Democratic and Republican judge. Because if you're controlling what is happening, you have this authority on sending people to jail or not, criminals, all this stuff, gang members. Guys, this makes me think twice, like, what is going on with our country? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Gruesome photos, and he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could, Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin case and Judge Hannah Dugan, because in allegedly letting the perpetrator and the attorney out through a non-public exit and allowed them to get out in front of the building, we had a situation where we've seen that I know Tom Homan was complaining about in Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant from a jail to ICE custody on a detainer request in a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around with the DEA or whatever, or FBI, and pick them up. This ended up in a foot chase in public sight. It says here, a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So the judge apparently has created a situation here where you have a public foot chase. And we all know that, while sometimes they can come off without incident, they can also turn into very dangerous situations.
John, that's exactly right. She put the lives of our law enforcement officers at risk. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge did it. So did the other judge. Judge Cano is charged with, they were allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s, with a suppressor, a known TDA member, letting him go to a shooting range to refine and perfect his shooting skills.
Madam
What's happened to our judiciary is beyond me.
Yeah, so when the American public hears this and they think these were once upstanding people in their communities and their professions, and they put it all on the line for this, I mean, have you dug into their motive? Like, what inspired them to carry out these acts and harbor criminals?
They're deranged is all I can think of. I cannot believe, I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are.
Yes.
If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you.
And it's about dang time, guys, like this right here. I saw this come through my feed, guys. I have to show you if this is not the dang truth right here. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. The real problem isn't who spends 4 to 8 years here in the White House. The real problems are those who spend 30 to 40 years in Congress. That, I'm telling you, that is where the corruption is at. That is why I'm just like, everything that we're finding out, guys, and I'm just glad that we have some people that are revealing it, a lot of people that are unveiling what is going on, and the more and more that we dig into this, the more and more that we unveil the corruption, we're going to see that people are common sense. Most people are common sense, guys. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Listen to this.
Thank you so much for joining us. What comes to mind, what comes to the stomach when you think of AOC running for President of the United States of America?
Well, let me address first your question about dark woke. I think the Democrats are trying to appear more manly. Just a thought, but they may want to consider first getting rid of their man purses and their organic broccoli. Dark woke, light woke, mellow yellow woke, it's still woke. and that's the Democrats' problem. If you believe the polls, Jason, most Americans believe that Republicans aren't perfect, but they think the other side's crazy. They think that Democrats, like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, have chosen to become what my son would call utter nutters. I mean, you think about it. And think about what the Congresswoman stands for. If you're a Democrat in today's Democratic Party, you're not allowed to fire bad employees, to fire bad teachers. You're not allowed to cut wasteful spending. You're not allowed to deport illegal immigrants. You're not allowed to oppose MS-13. You're not allowed to like cops. You're not allowed to prosecute thieves who steal less than $950. You're not allowed to question vaccines. You're not allowed to oppose sex change operations for minors or transgender people in women's bathrooms or playing women's sports. You're not allowed to oppose critical race theory in our schools. You're not allowed to oppose reading porn to grade schoolers. You're not allowed to oppose racial quotas. But you are required to use certain pronouns and to believe that men can breastfeed. Now, I don't think I'm being unfair. This is what Democrats and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez now believe. And a charitable interpretation for this kind of behavior does not exist. And the American people look at it and they just want to jump out of a moving car. and that's why Democrats are polling right up there with scalp psoriasis. In terms of the Congresswoman, look, I encourage her to run. I hope she does run. I understand. I listened to her speech. I understand her slogan is going to be "Change begins with a mustard seed," which I think is interesting. I guess if Governor Pritzker runs, his slogan will be "You can have a tummy and still be yummy." I don't know. I just think with the Congresswoman, if you scratch the surface, you get more surface. I don't think she has the intellectual firepower to run a campaign or to be president, but I hope she does.
Yeah, it's interesting with Donald Trump. I don't think the Democrats ever took the time or had the inclination or even the ability or aptitude to understand Donald Trump and his appeal to the American people. I think authenticity wins elections and it wins hearts and minds, and Donald Trump has that top to bottom. It's just He's authentic. And this dark woke is really interesting. You know, Donald Trump took this lane called common sense, and that meant that the Democrats, being anti-Trump, had to go the opposite of everything that is common sense. I mean, that's where I read it. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think Trump beat Harris because Trump represented hope and Harris represented more hurt. But I do think that what the American people trusted Trump most on was the economy. Inflation. I mean, inflation was man-made, and that man's name was Joe Biden, and it gutted people like a fish. And when moms and dads lie down to sleep at night, Jason, and can't, they're worried about the economy. They're worried about the high prices. That's why we've got to pass the reconciliation bill. That's our plan to deal with lowering these prices.
No, that is the key. It is a team sport, particularly in the House, and it'll be fascinating to see. But that Trump agenda and that one big, beautiful bill, we're counting on you and a whole lot of others to make it happen. Senator Kennedy, thank you for joining.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, it blows my mind. What I love is, again, we got to show our boy Scott Jennings on CNN laying the smackdown. You have Trump, who is the sitting president, cannot issue a executive order to require voter ID, but you can have a district federal judge issue a nationwide injunction that no state can require voter ID. Like, again, what world are they living in? Listen to this.
Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the president of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by these judges. They're not here to tell us. They're not here to tell us how to spend the money. They're not here to set broad federal policy. That is the president's job as elected by the people. These judges are supposed to be settling discrete, specific matters, not policy setting. I think Vance is right. I think Trump has a point. And these judges want nothing more to continue the lawfare against
I don't
Trump.
think anybody's going to be surprised to hear that you think Trump is right.
They're doing
this on however,
I get it. You want individual federal judges who hate Donald Trump.
No, I don't.
To tie him up for 4 years.
No, I don't.
If you want a big
Not at
policy
all.
questions decided, let the Supreme Court do it. But in the interim, the executive has to be allowed to govern. Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the president of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by the...
Guys, I'm telling you, oh my goodness, what a day of news. But I'm glad that we finally, Judge number 2 has been arrested, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We are getting it. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Guys, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. We got so much going on. We want to make sure you're informed. Want to give some love to all of our members of the channel, all those giving a super chat. Also, too, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting that thumbs up like button, guys. We really appreciate your support. We are growing. We have now given live on stream, guys. We've literally given, thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank God for his blessings. We've literally given over $33,000 live on stream to local charities with your support in the past 7 months. Guys, we are changing lives and we are making things happen. I want to give some love to Chad Meadows, B1 Sly One, Della Cole, Joseph, Gene Kopedge, Andy, Treeman, Becky Gavon, Giuseppe Calcara. Man, I'm butchering that. I know I am, but brother, welcome to the family. Fred Samuel, Patty Razor. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for liking these videos. Thank you for sharing these videos. We couldn't do it without you. We just want to serve you every day with the top news. Remember, like I said earlier today, guys, everybody who purchased a shirt, who paid and the payments went through, your shirt has been shipped out today, and you should have already gotten a notification for the tracking number. There are a few, I think there's about 15 to 20 orders where the payment's kind of in limbo. We got to re-verify, so we're going to be reaching back out to you over this next week to verify that so we can get you that True Life News first edition t-shirt, guys. We're about to put on the channel the rest of them, but we just want to say thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.